Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Something custom chemicals about the console failing out. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wanna Bet. I'm Jason. That's Ben. We are Wanna Bet. I'm sending out the tweet here, letting everybody know that we are live. We are live. All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, if that song was, I wonder if there's a way to make that song like 15 seconds longer, 10 seconds longer, even an extra 10 seconds. But
that band might be able to do it, right?
Haven't heard back from them. I don't want to be pushy, but I think maybe after the holiday, I will reach back out to the Players Band and see where things stand with us getting human beings doing versions of our song, better ska versions than the AI version I created with my son, Mateo. So look, if you're new to the show, first, second, third down, our three favorite plays since yesterday's show. There's always a yesterday's show. We do this 7 days a week. We'll be on Thanksgiving. We're on all the time. I reckon we'll be on Christmas. Christmas Eve. That's what we do. We're handicapping around the clock, trying to give you guys our very best plays. Fourth down, we give you guys a long shot play or a long-term play like a future or a short-term play. Could be fourth and long, could be fourth and short. Overtime. Football or football parlays every single day. Champions League is back. We've done very well in Champions League. We are trying to give you guys NFL bets every day because we know people are going out of state. That means they can't get their apps to work out of state. We're trying to give you some of our favorite NFL plays where we feel like there's value now. There's some I'm clinging to because I think the numbers are going to keep moving in our direction. So you're always, hedging and trying to play that game and figure that out. And then obviously, Feast Week. NBA basketball has been very good to us. A lot going on. But as always, we are transparent here. We show our work. How did it go yesterday? Look, I don't feel bad about the Bryce Young play for that kind of money. He ends up at 170 with a bunch of drops, with Canales punting early in the game on a fourth and short, which didn't make any sense to me. If Kyle Shanahan punts at the end of the game and we get one more crack at garbage time, the way he started finally throwing to the running backs in the second half, I think we could have got home or damn close. The two passing touchdowns, which I had on a half unit parlay, I mean, he throws the pick in the end zone. That's unfortunate. But San Francisco's defense, for me, still leaves a lot to be desired. The Purdy over cashed pretty easy. Said I thought he'd beat her around 20 and then have a couple kneel downs. That's essentially what happened there. Thank God Joker got that rebound when he did. And Ben, look, I think one of the coolest parts of the show is we have these conversations and then, and I need to be better about this following up on Twitter, and I did yesterday. We talked a lot about Dowdle in the receiving yards, and we started talking about Robert Saleh and the way he defends certain teams and how the game flow might go. And then I'm like, I'm going to jump on Hubbard's longest reception. And then I just started looking at Hubbard's receiving yards when they finally posted it late in the day, and I put on Twitter, 20 plus 475. I'm officially on it. And he ended up with 27. He had the one for -7 early, and I'll admit I was crapping my pants. But in all honesty, he probably should have had over 30 easily. And with a little bit of garbage time at the end, he might have. Dowdle went over easy. Coker got over 30 yards. I mean, I feel like we had a really good beat on that game overall.
No, yeah, 100%. We were all over that one. College basketball dragged me down a little bit. Creighton, I thought they would cover. I thought they would go over 74.5 points. They finished at 74. NC State thankfully lost, so I didn't feel as bad because that parlay would have lost either way. That was tough. Both NBA plays. Zion Williamson, if I'm taking his points and rebounds again, tell me just to take his points. It's the second time I've done it where I went points and rebounds for whatever reason because the Bulls allow a lot of rebounds. He scores 29 and grabs one board.
Crazy.
One board. And 29 points, and I loved his matchup. I should have just went with his points, kicking myself all last night. And he subs back in and plays 4 more minutes. And I'm like, all right, he's going to get 2 buckets or just 1. That's really all we need. He doesn't get another bucket. So,
yeah, our biggest loser yesterday was actually the Man U match where Everton gets the self-inflicted red card in like the 15th minute and still managed. I knew someone was scoring in the first 30 minutes, and I should have just played it that way. I went with the home team for obvious reasons. Should have just played somebody to score in the first 30 minutes. And then Man U can't even get a draw against 10-man Everton. What are you going to do? But we'll be better today in the Champions League. I feel it. So let's get it started, Ben. I'm biting the lobster. Come on, Lobby. Sucking the marrow out of that succulent lobster. We are going to start in Champions League. This match kicks off at 12:45 Eastern, so a little over a half hour to get this one in. We are taking Galatasaray to win this match in Istanbul against Union St. Gilloise. We're also looking for Galatasaray to score at least 2 goals in this match. Their top striker, Oshiman, is out for this match, but they've been scoring goals in bunches. And USG, as we've gotten deeper into this tournament, and when they can't play like Copenhagen all the time, they've gotten exposed. Not a real strong year for the Jupiter League in Belgium. And Galatasaray have been doing the job. It's a fortress there at their stadium. They have not lost at home in over a calendar year. They are unbeaten in 9 straight at home in all competitions. This year, obviously, and I just think this is going to be an intimidating spot for a Belgian side that are fading fast and don't have a lot to play for. Galatasaray has everything to play for. They've got a really good shot to be among the teams that go automatically through to the knockout stage and not have to deal with playoffs, and I think they will continue to get that done here. How's it gone for USG lately in the Champions League if you haven't been paying attention? 4-0 loss to Newcastle, 4-0 loss to Inter, 3-1 loss to Atletico Madrid. Not great. 12 goals allowed in 4 Champions League games going to Istanbul. That could be a problem. It's a Galatasaray side that is regularly scoring multiple goals per game. I just think this is a bit of a mismatch. Look, yesterday you could have got this at plus 100. I could not find it at plus 100 anywhere today. But if you search around, you can get it at minus 105. Galatasaray to win this match and score 2 goals in the process.
I'm going to go to the NBA on first down, and we're going to play Luka Doncic over 8.5 rebounds. So to get 9 rebounds at minus 108. If you want to play 10 and get plus 115, I'm fine with that too. You can mark that down as a play. I do like Luka to have a strong night on the glass. DeAndre Ayton is out. The last time Ayton was out, Luka grabbed 11 boards, and I know LeBron's back. LeBron's going to be pretty aggressive on the glass, as he always is. But in this matchup, we are seeing the Clippers allow 45.2 rebounds per game over their last 4 or 5 matchups, which is the 8th most in the NBA. Now, the Clippers, they're playing fast. They're shooting a lot of threes. We know James Harden is very comfortable. Kawhi just got back. I think Luka's going to be aggressive on the glass. He always likes to stat pad and add his numbers up, and we know the frequent triple-doubles with him. Even with LeBron back, I'm still confident Luka's going to be aggressive on the glass. No DeAndre Ayton is massive for this, just because Luka's going to have to be. He always seems to find the long rebounds as well. 10 rebounds should not be an issue for him. But we're also getting 8.5, which to me is a fair number. Now, Clippers matchup, if you gave me it like a week ago, I thought the Lakers could blow them out. But now with Kawhi back, it could be a tight game. So we should be able to get 8 to 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. And he'll play regular minutes all game as long as he stays out of foul trouble. Could they attack him a little bit? Maybe, but I think he's sagging off a little bit when not on ball, and I think that he'll grab some boards here. So I like him over 8.5 boards, minus 108, and we'll also take him for 10 plus at plus 115.
Excellent. Second down, we're staying in Champions League. We are going to Dortmund. We have been on Borussia Dortmund a few times this year, mostly in the Bundesliga. And, there's some teams in the Bundesliga we've told you about where it just gets batshit crazy from a goal standpoint. Bayern Munich matches, Eintracht Frankfurt matches, and Dortmund matches. And we think there's an opportunity for this one to get loose today. Villarreal have been awful in the Champions League, but they're great in La Liga. They more than hold their own in La Liga. They're routinely scoring 2 or more goals per game in La Liga. And yeah, they don't travel well, but they don't travel horribly in La Liga. And this isn't like, they're not going to Turkey. Like, Dortmund's a tough place to play, but they're not traveling to Kazakhstan or anything like that. And they are overdue to break through for some goals in Europe. I wonder if our guy Taniolo Fusi gets one. Remember talking about him and when he was with Minnesota and MLS? Just pretend you do, Beltway Ben, and say, sure I do. The Canadian forward, we were also on some of his in the over the summer in Gold Cup. We were on some Tanny goal scorers props. I don't know if he gets one here or not today, but I do believe Villarreal break through against the Dortmund side that played crazy games. Dortmund in 4 Champions League games, 13 goals scored, 11 allowed. Yeah, that's a lot. What was it like over the weekend when they played Stuttgart in the Bundesliga? 3-3. 3-3, that's a lot of goals. There has been a BTTS in 7 of the last 10 Dortmund games across all competition. Villarreal have nothing to lose with just 2 goals scored and 6 conceded in the Champions League so far. I expect them to come out attacking and looking to win a wide open game. Dortmund is always willing to play that way. Villarreal have scored twice in 5 of their last 6. I know they went to Paphos and couldn't score against that team in Cyprus. I just think now the numbers are working in our favor. Again, this was plus 110 yesterday, but the best I could find it this morning was Villarreal and Dortmund both to score, and for them to accumulate at least 3 total goals at minus 109.
For second down, we will go to college basketball. We're going to attack a team that in their first matchup where we took them, it didn't go our way. But we'll go back to them here.
Long season, by the way, Ben.
It always is. College basketball, especially early on, you got to figure some things out.
Yes.
But no, I like St. John's minus 4.5, minus 140. Last night, had it written down minus 110 at minus 4.5. Knew the number would move, but was hoping by noon we could somewhat get it here. We're not. It's 6.5 in most spots, and I think they cover. I think they win by 7, but we're just going to take it down to where I liked it at to start at minus 140. We'll pay a little bit of juice here. Now, they're coming off a tough loss. They were in that matchup with Iowa State until the very end of the game. They were up like as many as 6 or 7 with 8 minutes left, and Pitino post-game really showed his frustration. They're going to be physical with Baylor. I really like the St. John's team, and I don't think enough people are crediting them for how good they actually are. A lot of people are kind of shooing away some of the transfer ads they got, but they have had plenty of tough tests. It's early in the year, and Pitino is one of the better adjusters in college basketball. We've known that from his career. As fired up as he was post-game, I have to imagine that his guys are going to be ready to come out and get it going. You're facing a Baylor team who played well against Creighton yesterday, and I know we faded them. I get all that. But to that point, the Creighton defense is just not good enough for me here. They allowed 81 points to Rio Grande Valley. They allowed 81 points to Tarleton. Creighton, they somewhat held down, but Creighton missed a lot of clean shots that we don't usually see them miss. They weren't getting the bucket as much as they could. I think St. John's is going to bully this Baylor team, and it's going to be more of a statement for St. John's coming off of yesterday's loss to an Iowa State team who I think is strides ahead of Baylor, and we'll see that in Big 12 play. So in this spot here, I like Pitino and the Johnnies to cover 4.5 at minus 140.
Third down, we're going to the National Football League. A couple different plays with the Bengals here. We're going to take that 7. Now, we jumped this at 7.5 yesterday. You can't find 7.5 now. Do I want to pay to go up? I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you if you did. But I'm comfortable getting the 7 at minus 110. That's pretty much everywhere. I also played Bengals money line yesterday at plus 285. You can still get it at plus 280. I would urge you to follow me here. I like the Bengals to win this game. Look, there's some variance here in that we haven't seen Joe Burrow in a long time. But I have seen Joe Burrow against way better iterations of a Ravens defense than this, and it's been problematic for the Ravens in terms of a point-scoring situation. Now, Cincinnati's defense sucks. We know that. But the Ravens' offense the last 7 weeks, it's not just, Lamar's hurt now. The last 7 weeks, which dates back to before Lamar's injury, 4.7 yards per play in the first half of games. Bottom 4 in the NFL. 7.4 offensive points per half in the first half of their last 7 games. Bottom 3 in the NFL. Red zone for the year is dregs, bottom of the NFL, and that trend has held over the last 7 games as well. 4 offensive touchdowns total in their last 7 first halves. Only 2 passing touchdowns. Lamar is hurt. And if the Ravens have to play from behind, they can't run the ball. Dirty little secret. Derrick Henry ain't coming close to doing what he did last year. Lamar not using his legs has crippled Derrick Henry. And I know he's had big games against the Bengals before, but I just think the Bengals make it difficult for him. No Rashad Bateman means no deep plays and explosives for the Ravens at all. Cincinnati will get explosives against this Ravens defense. Are you convinced Kyle Hamilton's playing in this game, by the way, Ben? Kyle Hamilton's a single reason the Ravens defense went from worst in the NFL in most key metrics to above average. I'm not convinced he's playing in this game, and if he plays, I still think he's going to be a problem. Even with Kyle Hamilton, the Ravens are a bottom 5 team defending passes to people in the slot. Guess what? Without Hamilton in the slot, that's going to get even worse. Even if he is there, it's still been a problem. Jamar Chase, last 2 games against the Ravens, 21 catches, 457 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jamar Chase is far and away the Bengals' number 1 problem guy in the slot, and he's been a problem for the Ravens his entire career. I don't think Marlon Humphrey can handle him, and I don't think you could double everybody. If this is a shootout, I'm not convinced it is, but if it's just a shootout, even as crappy as the Bengals defense is, I like the Bengals offense to score 1 more point than the Baltimore Ravens here. Lamar Jackson on short rest at about 60% ain't going to be great. His offensive line stinks. He's frustrated. And it's hard to win 5 straight games in the NFL. Boy, it's really hard to win 6. And to have to do this one on short rest after you came a Breece Hall fumble away from maybe blowing a fourth quarter lead to the Jets, I'm on the Bengals. We're also jumping on Chase Brown here. Are we going to get on Jamar Chase? Am I already on it? Probably, but I want to see where those markets go for tomorrow's show. Chase Brown, 25 or more receiving yards, plus 152. Chase Brown, 30 or more receiving yards, plus 220. The Baltimore Ravens suck defending running backs who can catch the ball. How bad do they suck? Well, Hall, 4 for 75 last week. Achane, 6 for 39. Swift, 2 for 26. Kyron Williams, 2 for 37. James Cook, 5 for 58. Gibbs, 5 for 32. DeAndre Swift, on the day he barely played because he was hurt, 3 for 27. Somebody whose name starts with a J. Oh, Aaron Jones, can't read my own handwriting, 3 for 22. Are you noticing a trend? The Ravens allow 6.3 yards per attempt to running backs. That's 25th in the NFL. Last 7 games that Jamar Chase played with Joe Burrow last season, 3 for 18, 3 for 16, 6 for 65, 3 for 30, 5 for 57, 9 for 52 against the Ravens, and 5 for 37. He has 23 receiving yards or more in 4 straight games, and they're getting Burrow back. Burrow coming off an injury with a bad offensive line. Ball's coming out quick. Zach Orr is going to have to blitz to get a pass rush. Yeah, even against a bad O-line. Ball's coming out quick. I think Chase Brown guts him a bunch of different ways, but for that kind of plus money, we are on 25 receiving yards at plus 152, Spotifyers and Apple Bottoms, and 30-plus receiving yards plus 220.
We're going to go to college basketball. We will get to that game in overtime. I have a few plays that I like there, a few props. But here, we're going to go with Gonzaga, and we're going to play them multiple different ways. We're going to play Gonzaga minus 13.5 at minus 110. Get it now because by 2 p.m., 3 p.m., the number is going to continue rising. They're going to beat Maryland pretty bad tonight, I think. So Gonzaga minus 13.5 at minus 110. And we'll also play their team total over 85.5 at minus 110. The Terps are not great. I like the Terps. I like Buzz. Diehard Terps fan. You guys can see the sweatshirt right now. That being said, I'm honest. Gonzaga's team right now, to me, today, is the best team in the country. I fully believe that. You look at their age. Tyon Grant Foster, he's 25. Venters, who's just getting back. He suffered the torn ACL last year after transferring over from Eastern Washington. He's 24. Graham Ike, 23. He's played 5 years. Braden Huff, 22. He's been in Few's system for 4 years now. Mark Few is a great coach, and as good of a coach as Buzz Williams is, Few is strides ahead of that. Now they're competing for NIL money here, and this isn't a bracket, which makes this tournament extremely tough, right? You can't just win 2 games and be in. With Maryland's win last night, there is going to be at least one 2-0 team that doesn't make the championship game. Gonzaga doesn't want to be that team, and right now they're tied for 4th with Kansas because they're only plus 10. You're telling me Few isn't going to run the score up on the Terps tonight to ensure that they get a play in the championship game to win some NIL money? I just fully believe that Gonzaga is going to be frustrated in this game. They're going to be going after Maryland, and they have a lot of older guys who have played together, and even their transfers like Grant Foster, who's new. That fit has been perfect. The guy's 25 years old. He's played with so many different schools, a bunch of different teams. He's got an awesome story, but he's a great basketball player. Like last year, we saw Drew bench him at Grand Canyon a few times because he didn't love the way he was playing. Yeah, that's fine. Go look at what this guy's doing at Gonzaga. Grant Foster is a dog. I really wish more teams would have went after him in the portal, but they didn't. Tonight, Gonzaga should handle the Terps from the jump, and with this being the situation, the players' era, you have to win by a certain amount of points to go to the championship. I think Gonzaga is going to really step on the pedal and handle the Terps.
We're with you on the team total. I mean, I really am pretty much with you on the spread as well. But let's officially say, Meatball, I'm going to jump that 85.5 with you there, Beltway Bet. I was trying to make it look like a screensaver. It's hard to do. I don't think I'm totally lined up. You know, like when things like go across the screen, like,
slowly at the same time.
Ooh, that might be before your time, where all the screensavers went like ding.
No.
You know
what
I'm talking about?
Yeah. And you would always wait for it to hit the corner.
Boom. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But it's not. Yeah. The way that tournament works, which I was not totally familiar with until I read your column that you wrote for us at Hoops HQ. That's up there now.
Bama.
I didn't even realize that's how that tournament worked. Yeah. That could be bad news for a Terps team that tipped off at midnight their body clock time last night. I mean, never mind the fact that Gonzaga is like a 30-minute puddle jumper from where they're playing, and It's a 5-hour flight for the Terps. Fourth down. We're going fourth and long because this is a long shot parlay, and I don't do this very often. But I did think long and hard about this one. I put $25 on it. And we've had some weeks in the Champions League where we were really on it. So here's what we're doing. We already talked about the Galatasaray match. Galatasaray to win at home against USG. Leroy Sane to score a goal. I said Osimhen's not playing for them. They're without their true pivot, the guy they play through, their leading scorer. I haven't liked a lot of the way the German national team players have looked playing for Diamond, but I do like Sane, and he's in good form in Turkey as well. He scored, I think, in 2 of their last 3 games. I think he's going to be able to create for himself off the dribble here, or also will have numerous chances to finish in the box. So I think he is the danger man for Galatasaray on a day where they're at home and they have a chance to run up the goal differential and get themselves into the straight directly into the knockouts. And again, I think Sane is the danger man. Man City, we're going to talk more about that match in a minute. I won't belabor the point here. We like City to win at home today against Leverkusen. And we like Jeremy Doku to score in that match. He had a breakthrough game for them 2 weeks ago. May have been against Newcastle, where he finally really got activated down the wing. And he started linking up more with Holland. And it wasn't just in a facilitator role. He was also making in-cutting runs into the box. And he was looking to score for himself. It hasn't totally carried over in the Prem, but it did in Champions League. And I think this is going to be a wide-open match. Leverkusen play a lot of wide-open matches. And it wouldn't shock me if this is another day where the citizens hang 3 or 4 on somebody. Holland will get his. We'll get to his in a moment. But I also think Jeremy Doku is a good read to score in this match. And then our guy, Rasmus Højlund, we talked about him a lot in World Cup qualifying recently with Denmark. He got the flu. He came back quickly, took a big penalty for them. They blew the game to Kosovo when he couldn't play because of the flu. He's in great form. And I actually kind of like Napoli more now that De Bruyne's injured. Like, I don't like saying that because I love watching him play, but like, I feel like he was holding them back, and they're not quite as free-flowing at this stage of the career. Napoli have not been good. Napoli need results here, and this 22-year-old is in great form. He's got the confidence of scoring huge goals for his country that shouldn't put him through to the World Cup. Instead, they're going to a playoff. And I look, he could be taking penalties. I think you're going to see him all over the place in the box, and this is a game where I think Napoli can score. So Galatasaray money line plus a Sane anytime goal. Man City money line plus a Doku anytime goal. And our guy Rasmus Højlund to score. That's plus 24.02. If you want to sub out Doku and go with our guy Erling Haaland, which, I mean, it's never a bad thing to put Haaland in there, that'll pay you plus 10.88. If you want to put a couple bucks on both of them like I did, that's fine too. But we're going to put in here for official scoring at home purposes the one with Doku in it. But we'll get to Haaland in overtime.
I'm going to go back. We're going to make it fourth and short here for us. I'm going to go with the Gonzaga team total in the first half over 41.5. Listen, I could give you a book of the reasons where I think they're going to run it up. But as Jason just mentioned after, with the rules in this tournament, how things are, there's no way they're not going to be trying to run the score up, especially starting early. Now, I get the environment. It's a little different. I saw somebody who covers the Terps at the game take a picture of how it looked in there and how it was a pretty tough tournament to play in, but you're getting paid NIL for it. Well, let's look at what Gonzaga did against Alabama yesterday. 45 points in the first half and 50 in the second half. They had no issues getting used to that court, getting used to the atmosphere, and a lot of people are going to be there backing them. Gonzaga has a strong fan base. I'm a huge fan of Mark Few, if you guys can't already tell. For years, we've heard Gonzaga just knock time and time again because they play in a weaker conference and they don't do this, they don't do that. Well, go look at their non-conference schedule. Few wants to play the big dogs every year, and he dominates them in non-conference play. Now, in the tournament, their best shot was the year where they lost to Baylor. Was a big fan of them. They had Suggs, they had Holmgren. But early in the year, they've been able to dominate some of these non-conference opponents, and they've made statements which has kept them in the top 8 for the majority of the year. I think Gonzaga comes out against Maryland today. Maryland's communication on the defensive end is just not good. Watching the game last night, I stayed up for the whole thing. I was out watching it. They do not move well. You see a lot of missed shots from that team last night in UNLV. I think we're going to see Gonzaga knock some threes down here. 41.5 is too low for me to pass, minus 110. Now, we're also going to play a parlay. We're going to continue to go back to Gonzaga, first half in full. For anybody wondering, all you have to do is be leading at halftime and win the game. You could be up 50 at halftime and only win by 30. Yes. Half in full in college basketball. We just need them, the way I'm playing it, first half to win the first half and then win the game on the money line. Gonzaga half full, I don't think the Terps are going to be in the game at halftime. I think it'll be, quite honestly, a 10-plus point game. I lean Gonzaga spread in the first half, but we're just playing this here to be safe. Alabama half and full against, listen, UNLV, I watched them against the Terps. I'm not buying them. They run their mouths a lot. They're a pretty dirty team, to be quite honest with you, but they're not that good. And Pastner is the underachiever. He struggled a lot in a lot of different places. Seems like a good guy. Watch him on a lot of podcasts, but I don't think that he's going to be figuring it out here against Alabama, who will be pretty frustrated. Nate Oates likes to run the score up on some of these teams as well. And then the Johnnies on the money line at plus 115. I know that's not a first half, but I do like St. John's on the money line.
Since you do consume a lot of podcasts and you get good reads on people, Pastor, is he at least on our side? Is he on the right side of history?
I don't know. I
really?
Yes, I don't know. I really don't.
Because you usually have a pretty good instinct.
I do, but I don't know about Pastner. Not fully sure. But I do. He actually is pretty close with Buzz. So, I mean, that
would be a fun game to play.
Yeah.
MAGA or not?
I don't know. I'm not fully sure on Pastner.
Yeah. It's the sweeping the nation. Overtime, Beltway Ben. We're back on the Citizens here. You only had the one play, right?
Yeah. 2. Gonzaga.
Oh, you did another one. My bad.
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
But
no, I got both.
Oh, yeah.
I got both.
Yeah.
The parlay.
The first half Gonzaga and the parlay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought you were saying 2 more. All right, overtime. We're going to go back to the Etihad in Manchester. We're on the Citizens to win this match, the Citizens to score at least 2 goals in the process, and our guy Erling Haaland, who is the leading scorer in the Premiership by a country mile and is right behind Osimhen in goals in the Champions League. Haaland to score a goal in this match, plus 115. The Citizens have already hosted one German side, Dortmund, who we talked about on this show. They beat them 4-1 at home. Leverkusen have won just 1 of their last 6 road Champions League games. And there are a lot of goals in Leverkusen games. Stop me if you heard this before about a lot of these German sides. In the Bundesliga, Leverkusen games average 3.82. If you recall, Vincent Kompany of Bayern Munich started his B team against Leverkusen, still beat them 3-0. And that was I think it was 3-0 at the half. They do concede. The Citizens have won 13 straight at home in the Champions League versus German sides. That obviously spans a while. That's a big trend. Citizens have won 7 in a row at home overall. Bayer have allowed 10 goals in 4 Champions League games. They've also scored 6. So, again, that's almost right on. It's 4 per game, right on their Bundesliga average. This is a Bears side that went to Copenhagen and allowed 2. Goalkeeper shaky. They're a little unsettled in the back. They do like to attack and try to hit you off the counter, though. So I think there's goals in this match. I think Man U is at least one goal. Man City is at least one goal better. Holland's been scoring in every match, and we need 2 total goals out of the Citizens plus 115.
Sorry, I thought I had the right one up. That was the old one. This is the new one for the viewers.
There you go. You read it, Beltway Ben.
Yeah.
These are the champions. These are the champions.
Man City on the money line over 1.5 team goals and Erling Haaland anytime goal. That's what you have there. We're gonna play a few different things. We like a lot of stuff in this Ravens Bengals matchup. We'll start with a regular parlay that we're going with. And I just think I get it. I know where Lamar Jackson is. I know where this offense is. The Bengals cure all. No matter who they play, the Bengals defense cures all. I think Lamar's going to throw 2 touchdown passes. He missed a few last week. He's missed a few since dealing with this injury. There's been hitters there. You have to think he's going to get right here against the Bengals defense that allows more yards, more points than majority of teams in the NFL. I like Isaiah Likely 30+. We'll take his number up 5 yards to get it at plus money. And then Gesicki will take down a few yards to 30+. So again, Lamar 2+ touchdown passes, Isaiah Likely 30+ receiving yards, and Mike Gesicki 30+ receiving yards, which you can get at plus 398. Now I'll jump into these a little bit more here because we are giving these guys out with their regular numbers. Isaiah Likely over 24.5 receiving yards at minus 110. Isaiah Likely has not looked right since returning from that ankle foot injury that he dealt with in training camp. A lot of question marks as to when he was going to return. Didn't want to rush him back. They bring him back week 3, week 4, somewhere around there against the Chiefs, and he just hasn't looked 100% since. Now, the 1 week we were on him in a big way against the Dolphins was the breakout week. Now, it was also a jailbroken play. Lamar finds him kind of running across the field, and Isaiah Likely was able to make a big play. That was one of the big receptions there. Look at how the Bengals defend tight ends. That happens pretty regularly, and it could happen here. They're allowing 103 receiving yards per game to tight ends since week 5. That is by far not even close to the most. Now, and you look at what it's been. It's not 1 week. I talk about this all the time. When you do averages, sometimes it's just a 1 week thing, and you have to really dive into it. Well, let's look at it. Henry last week, who we were all over, 7 catches, 115 yards, and he's had one other game where he went for 100 this year. Up and down year for him, but he killed him. Darnell Washington, 4 for 67. Freiermuth added 19. Colston Loveton, 6 for 118, and he had a 54-yard reception at the end of the game. I get that before the 54-yard reception, he still was north of 50, which is not normal for Loveland with what he's done in that offense this year. Mason
Taylor, not normal for tight ends, period.
No, right. Yeah, 100%. Mason Taylor and Rucker combined for 58. That's not a lot, but Rucker catches maybe 1 ball every 3 weeks, and Taylor really hasn't been used the way we thought he would with that quarterback situation. You want to go all the way back to the first Steelers matchup? We already know Freiermuth killed them down the field. Him and Smith combined for 140. Him and Smith combined for 140 yards. Like, they are just lost stopping tight ends. And the Ravens, Zay Flowers, we know he's abused the Bengals since being drafted in Baltimore. Will they put a little bit more attention his way? Probably. Bateman's probably going to be out. We don't fully know what's going on there yet.
I don't think he's back.
I'm there with you. And I don't know that they'll need him against this defense because I think Isaiah Likely will get it going. And Lamar Jackson, what's going on there? Hopefully he's getting better, but it's a short week. We'll have to see. You got to go with some quick hitters. And if he's doing that, Isaiah Likely is a guy that can do that. Now, he can also make the big play down the field. But a few times, the few receptions Likely does have this year, it's a quick slant from Lamar and let Likely try to make a play. And he just hasn't really been able to break any tackles or make plays yet. I think we see it happen Thursday night. Now, the other play, Mike Gesicki, who we're going to take over 33.5 receiving yards at minus 114. Same matchup here. The Ravens, on the other hand, by numbers, have been solid. They've been solid against tight ends. They've done their job since week 5. They're like bottom 4 in the NFL. But let's look at the matchups. Mason Taylor this past week. Yeah, exactly. Mason Taylor this past week. Just talked about him. I mean, he's not doing much for the Jets offense. He was able to catch a few passes, didn't do much. Fannin and Njoku in a matchup where Dylan Gabriel wants to throw 2-yard passes and you chuck Shador out after never taking a snap with the first team. We can explain that for days. TJ Hawkinson.
They never threw him the ball.
No.
He was open and McCarthy stinks.
JJ McCarthy sucks. He doesn't like TJ Hawkinson. A lot of weird stuff going on there. It's been there all year. And then you go back to the Miami game where the defense was fully healthy. They don't have Darren Waller. Dulcich goes for 49 yards. Like that did happen. So
did the other one. The other one went off. I don't remember his name, but I had something on him.
Yeah.
The fourth tight end there did something.
Right.
Because they were down the top two.
Yeah. Yeah. Tua was taking shots to tight ends all
Cooper.
game.
I think his name was Cooper. Connor or Connor.
They were taking shots to the tight ends all game. And they were having success with it, to be quite honest with you. I just don't Tanner Connor, I think is their backup tight end there.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki, over 33.5 receiving yards at -114. I think he has a big day here against the Ravens.
I thought this would pull it up quickly that I could get a real quick look at Tanner Connor's game by games, but of course my internet's being janky because the kids are home and they're streaming all kinds of stuff. He went way over, I can tell you that. And we are almost over here. We do have a letter to read though, Ben. We got some mail time. We're gonna have to have a mail time song, and then what was the other?
And
song?
the workshop. I was thinking about that on my way here.
Yeah.
Yes, we did get one.
Ben's workshop. He can fix your bets. Or is there a Jiffy Lube? I feel like it's almost like a garage. I feel like you're a mechanic. I feel like you're almost more a mechanic than a doctor. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
Would you rather be a surgeon? I kind of feel mechanic vibes.
I like mechanic. Yeah, I like mechanic. A little gritty. Yeah, I think mechanic would be better. Yeah, I think mechanic would be better. But we could do you can hear tools clanking together, and then the music plays. I like that. I was thinking about
Ricky
that
Bobby, something from a pit crew, or Ricky Bobby with the Talladega Nights or something.
Yeah, or Bob the Builder. You can really take it way far back. Can he fix it? Yes, he
Bob
can.
The Builder. What about Handy Manny?
Handy Manny, yeah.
Before your time, Handy Manny was in your wheelhouse.
I was in elementary school for that.
I know Handy Manny.
Yeah,
that was probably Rocco, who he's a freshman now. Yeah, so within 4 years of you,
right?
Doot, Handy Manny.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. But no.
Handy Ben Hall. Yeah. We'll have to workshop. We'll workshop the songs.
We did
Players
get an email,
Band, if you're listening.
We got an email from Brian who said loves the show, thinks he's seen almost every episode on YouTube, appreciates the insight and rationale that we provide with our favorite plays. Was wondering what our favorite bet sites are. He said he plays BetMGM, and they don't seem to have the variety and flexibility that we seem to have with the sites that we use. It doesn't have team totals for rushing and receiving yards, or, for example, something that I like to play with college football. We all know that. And I've talked about that. And I think somebody commented that there's one on Fanatics. I don't use Fanatics as much. I have to check that out. But I think the Fanatics might have college rushing and receiving and things like that. But they want to know what our favorite things are. BetMGM, they said you can't really workshop enough. You can't take a guy down to 25 as much or anything like that. Or 30, 35. Because I know a lot of books used to have increments of 25 or more. And that's where I think BetMGM is. He said he's looked into FanDuel. That seems like a good option. Curious to hear our thoughts.
Yeah, the -109 that I found for Villarreal and Dortmund was actually at Fanatics. I would just say, look, you have your spending limits and your betting limits, and you stick to your units and you stick to your budget. But where you spend that money is entirely up to you. And I would check out every app that's available to you in state. I would at least download the app, even if you don't make a deposit. And I would cross-check anything that's available to you before you make the bet, because that's what we're doing here. Now, things can get dated from 11 a.m. when I send my picks to Ben, and then by the time at 12, I can't keep checking it every second. It can get dated really quickly. Something happens, whatever. But I go through everyone. And I also go to websites like Betting Pros that will give you, it's not quite real time, but you can get a feel for the odds, even on props. And you scroll through everything available, and you'll get an idea of who's pricing it where. And then I go to those apps and see if that's what I'm getting in my state. And I hunt around and I try to give you guys here the best number I can possibly get. Maybe we'll start giving out the book more. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I feel like there's enough people telling you, this, that, and the other, that they don't really need the promotion. And we don't know what's available to you in your state or your country anyway, but we're giving you the best number that's available to us. And the only way to do it is by cross-checking. And there are big differences, significant differences in these sports books. So if you're just shopping with one and they're not shipping you free bets left and right, then why the hell are they the only one you're shopping with?
I'm right there with you. I shop around a lot. I have if you go through my phone, I have every single app downloaded.
Me too.
FanDuel, Fanatics, DraftKings. There's sometimes where I'm in a little bit more of a rush and I hit like 4 or 5 of them. But if the night before, when I'm looking at research, some of them don't have the number up yet. So you have to in the morning go around and see if that prop has populated, because props sometimes you can't find till the next morning. But Jason's right. Like, there are 5-yard differences, and it's quick. Like, I talked about it.
And there's sometimes 35-cent differences. So 35 cents on a bet by multiples of whatever you're putting that down on, that's money.
Yeah, big time. Very big time. And, like, I don't know that I have a favorite one. Probably FanDuel is the one I use the most, but I don't know that I have a favorite one because, like, whatever the best number that I can get is, I'm going to take. Whatever the best odds I'm going to get, I'll take. And every book has special things. Like Bet365, we talk about it all the time. They have free throws made. Have I given one out on here yet? No, I'm going to be doing it soon. I bet that, though. I've done a few times. I've actually had some success. You take teams with free throws. It's pretty cool, though. They have a lot of different options.
The first 4.5. You don't have to play first 5 with 365 in baseball.
Right.
4.5 innings.
Right. You know, Jason.
If you're on the home team and you think you got the pitching advantage and the hitting advantage, you get better money. Take the bottom of the inning out.
Right. 100%. So there is a lot of different ways to play things. Again, I wouldn't just use one book. I know some states have only one book that you can use or things like that. But if your state allows every book, I would download every one. Whatever we tell you, I mean, sometimes the line goes against us. Like, listen to what we say, and whatever time you watch the show or hear it, look around and see what you can find. Because, I think the way that these books are, it is crazy some of the differences you get.
And look, you also, and I know we got to go, but like, to save yourself time, 365 is going to have way more inventory on soccer matches up before anybody else. In baseball markets, like, I find DK's got better odds most of the time, but FanDuel has more inventory available first, and especially things like first threes and nerfies, and you want to jump those early and you really think you got to play, you're going to find those available to you on FanDuel more than others. Like, I think like in college football, I've found I tend to find more up early on look-aheads on DraftKings than FanDuel, but FanDuel will give you more options besides just the straight money line spread, unmovable totals. They'll give you more options, but sometimes it's priced. I find a lot of times it's up first and maybe priced a little better on those 3 traditional bets at DraftKings. And the more you do it, the more you'll find out. But no, thank you for the email. We appreciate all of your listenership and viewership. And the laptop is still en route, so hopefully we will be streaming better and we'll be able to get things out sooner on the Spotify, to the Spotifyers and the Apple bottoms. There's still a lot we're sorting through. So yeah, that's the show. Ben, let everybody know how we did, as we always do. We're totally fully transparent here. I got to get back in the green. Thank you, Chuba Hubbard, last night for helping with that. Screw you, man, you. And yeah, let's go. This is a crazy time of year. It's hard picking what we want to bet on when you've got Champions League, NFL, round the clock, feast and college basketball, some good college football matches wrapping up, a lot of midweek NFL. It's cray-cray. But we're here to help you try to sort through it and make you some money. Thank you for betting with us as always. We will see you Wednesday at noon.